Man City's next Premier League game is back at the Etihad against Crystal Palace on Saturday lunchtime. City have just played a Man United side who play with a back three and with wing backs, and they're now preparing to face another in Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace, who are enjoying a strong run of form at the moment. They've
Yeah.
only lost just two of the last 17 games in all competitions since the end of December, so it's a great run of form, and they've extended their unbeaten run to 7 games after that 2-1 win against Brighton at the weekend. City have already dropped points against Palace this season. I think they had to come from behind twice to draw 2-2 with Palace at Selhurst Park in December. This weekend, Stephen, do you expect City to be in for another tricky test?
Absolutely. These are a better version of what United are trying to do right now. They're a team who, have threats out wide. Muniz has been a breakout star for Palace. I say breakout star. He's like 28 years old, but he's been excellent for them. A real goal threat with intense aggression and hunger to get forward. We talked about Eze earlier. I don't think he's a De Bruyne replacement, but I think he's a cracking player. I think he will give City trouble. The midfield, Adam Wharton is a player of ticket Manchester City. I think he's a brilliant footballer. Mateta scoring goals, a cracking. He's the exact kind of player who will score against this City side, Mateta. Yeah, they're just a really good side, coached well, and they had a really obviously they had a great end to last season. Thumping United famously, of course. And they started poorly this year, and they found a bit of form again. And it's they will come to the Etihad absolutely fearless, which is a weird thing to say for Palace, but yeah, with the quality they've got right now, they've got a good midfield. Veze, Kamada, Wharton. It's a dynamic midfield. It's an intelligent midfield. It's a creative midfield. It's a good age as well. They've got quality at the back. Gay is a player that I wouldn't be minded if he was at City. He's a really good footballer. Henderson, a pretty reliable goalkeeper. They're just a good side, with options as well. And I am expecting this to be difficult. I'm expecting it to be really difficult. I'm hoping we'll see changes. I mean, as much as Guardiola said he was happy with that, I'd be amazed given how Palace play if there isn't changes. If Savino isn't back in the side, if Kusanov isn't back in the side to cover the pace out wide, because he covers the channel so well. I think we'll see Nico Gonzalez back in because I think we need the physicality. We have to win this game. It's an absolute must win, like truly a must win game. If I will go as far as saying if we lose this game against Palace, I would expect us not to get Champions League football because I think at this point that's one of the. It's not a banker, but it's one of the games. I mean, looking at the fixtures again, we've got Palace at home. That's a home game for Manchester City. After that, you've got Everton away. Um, Okay, Southampton away you think would be quite easy, but Fulham away is not easy. Then we've got a few games where you think at home, okay, Wolves at home, Bournemouth we beat them recently, Villa will give us an absolute nightmare. Everton, there's not many guaranteed wins there, of given how Man City are right now. So City have to win this game against Palace. I'll be there. I'm going to that game myself as well. Um, it's hard early kickoff. The weather's been great recently. Maybe that's not playing into our hands. Maybe we need it to rain again in the north. Maybe we're too spoiled by this sunny weather. But yeah, it's an absolute crucial game of football, and I think it's going to be difficult. We'll see. Well, depending on the lineup, play this lineup, we struggle. They'll run rings through us. They'll be more physical. They'll be more assertive. Play the slightly different one that we've seen over the past few weeks. We'll have a chance.
Yes, it's Palace have made themselves difficult to beat against City in recent years. I think
Yeah.
City have not won seven of the last 16. So City they've won nine, drawn five, and lost two. So it's a decent record, but there are times in that where Palace have done quite well against City in the past. You mentioned Mark Gehi there. He's actually one of two Palace players who will miss this game through suspension, along
Okay.
with Eddie and Nketiah. So, I mean, how big of a blow is that for Palace, particularly Gehi, who's been obviously ever present for them in defence.
Yeah, he's great. He's a elite level footballer. I think he's really good. I think he's improved an awful lot. Yeah, obviously a talisman for them, a cracking footballer, and I didn't know that, and that's a big positive to see.
And in terms of maybe, players to watch out for, I think, you mentioned some of those like Eze there, for example, and another one of those is probably Jean-Philippe Mateta, their top goal scorer.
Yeah.
One key battle that we could see in this is maybe between him and City centre backs, whether it's Diaz and Josko Gvardiol or maybe Kuznetsov comes in. That's one of the key battles, isn't it, to watch out for?
Yeah, I'd like Kusanov to come in. I think he'd really suit the battle. Mateta is he's thriving right now, isn't he? He's having a really good spell at Palace. Took a while to get going at Palace, but the last couple of seasons he's been a regular goal scorer for them. He's probably even thinking about it sounds awful, but moved somewhere else. Like I can imagine him at a Bundesliga scoring 30 goals, so something like that. But either way, he's having a great time at Palace. He's a clinical goal scorer. The quality of his, I say not intensely clinical, but he's doing the best he can. In a side that he wouldn't have the service of say someone like Haaland, but the quality of his finish at the weekend it was brilliant. An absolute rocket of a strike. And he's in that kind of sort of rich vein of form. We see a lot of this where the strikers of this stature score against City. Usually they do, and in previous years we found a way to win anyway. But yeah, he's going to be one to stop. I mean, for me, it's Wharton as well. I think Adam Wharton's I really love Adam Wharton. I think he's such a wonderful player. I saw a stat saying that out of all the under 23 midfielders in Europe, he's like the most progressive passer in the top five leagues. So which is really really impressive. Elegantly gifted, a very Spanish English footballer, which is such a cliche, but I mean, you immediately know what I mean by that. Yeah, I think he reminds me a lot of Michael Johnson. Actually, which was a throwback for 20 years ago for City fans. Yeah, really good footballer. So those two are the ones I want to keep an eye on particularly.